everybody. Welcome back. We're going to get right into this because we had a heavy dose of 𝐁𝐫𝐢𝐞𝐟, of course, this morning unexpectedly. But this is a story that we have had on the calendar for a little while. Each and every year, this is a federally required survey. It's called a PIT count, or a point-in-time count, that the Homeless Alliance of Western New York undertakes to get a sense of what the status of homelessness is across Western New York. We're not just talking about Buffalo. We're not just talking about Erie County. We're talking about a 5-county region, and our next guest is going to define that a little bit for us. Daniella from the Homeless Alliance of Western New York. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here, Daniella.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
What is your position with the group?
I am the COC supervisor at the Homeless Alliance of Western New York.
And what are your responsibilities for that?
As a supervisor, I oversee the youth program coordinator position and our housing systems coordinator position. The youth services is the youth homelessness programs that we have. And the other one is in terms of landlord engagement, really addressing that gap in terms of our housing system, and also a lot of advocacy. So really advocating for the best policies based on what we're seeing in our data and in the everyday work that we're seeing with our providers and our folks experiencing homelessness.
All right, this Thursday and Friday, it will be a 24-hour PIT count. Will you explain what that day will look like?
Yes, so the point-in-time count, we have that annually every single year. As you mentioned, it's mandated by the federal government. So it is months-long coordination for these 2 days that we have once a year. And really, it's thanks to the community. We really need community support for the point-in-time count. So every single there's a route assigned in every single region. There's multiple routes. That's not just developed by us. That's developed by our outreach workers. That's with our housing providers. And our each individual group will have a specific route that they'll drive around during a specific amount of time. So some are in the South Town, some are in downtown. And it's just really a community effort. And each person has a set of goodie bags, I would say. So hand warmers, snacks, water, blankets, socks. If we do encounter someone, which we don't, right, we do have something to offer. Now, this person necessarily does not need to be experiencing homelessness. If we do encounter someone, if someone says, I do need something, do you have hand warmers? Do you have socks? We do hand them out.
All right, talk to us a little bit about these interactions, because it is not only an accounting of how many people are out there on the streets, literally, but it also allows folks from the Homeless Alliance, and I imagine other groups as well, to literally interact, have some face-to-face time with people, which offers them a little bit more help, or maybe a little bit more stability, or what are those interactions like?
So if we, on the day of the point-in-time count, if we do encounter someone that is experiencing homelessness, we have a survey that is mandated by HUD that we do take. Now, what's really important for our volunteers, for us, people who are involved in the PIT, we do a lot of planning. We do a lot of training around it, because we want to ensure when we engage someone who is experiencing something as sensitive as homelessness, that we're engaging with them in a person-centered and a trauma-informed approach. Because these questions are worded in a way that can be very direct or maybe triggering for our individuals experiencing homelessness. So we want to make sure we ask those questions and then see what resources we can connect them with. Last year, I did have to encounter someone that was experiencing homelessness, and we did the survey, and I sat and tried to connect them with 211. It was sitting there as much as I can, facilitating that connection, so it didn't fall on him during that moment.
This also decides maybe some funding down the road as well. Could you explain that?
Yes. So depending, as a point-in-time count, it shows us the trends that our community is experiencing unsheltered homelessness. And so depending on how, is it increasing, is it decreasing? So this lets the federal government know where we need to more use our resources, and how as our community need to be working better together.
So we're starting a new sort of cycle of this. So we don't necessarily know what current homelessness looks like across Western New York, but based on the best data that we have available, perhaps last year's PIT count, how does it compare to how we are doing over the past, say, decade or what have you? Are you guys noticing any trends that we're seeing? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? What kind of things you're noticing?
Yes, so we have seen it last year's PIT data this year an increase, and particularly there was an increase with households with children.
Huh.
Now there's a little caveat to that. A lot of data quality is very important when we're looking into collecting these numbers. And one thing our data team really worked on was making sure, are we inputting properly out of these households with children? But either way, we saw that increase. So what that's telling us is that we need to advocate more for affordable housing. That means that's telling us in our community, children are experiencing homelessness at higher rates. So that's what that last year's data has shown us.
Interesting.
And alongside that data, do you have reasons why type thing? What are the families telling you?
So in terms of we do a lot of lived experience engagement, as you stated. The stories along with the numbers paint us the whole picture. So we had a family focus group, and a lot of it is flexibility, transportation. Transportation seems to be a huge barrier for working families. If we're talking about single parent households, imagine trying to juggle to go drop your kid off at daycare. Then you have to go take the bus to go to work, and we already know there's delays on the bus. So it's very difficult trying to also keep up with the increasing rent, the increasing childcare costs. So all of that around, it's just multiple factors when it comes to families or any individual experiencing homelessness that can contribute to them.
I imagine along with these PIT counts, to see the people who are benefiting from resources. How are the resources across Western New York? Do we have enough groups like the Homeless Alliance? Do we have enough support groups out there? Do we have enough available resources for people to find help, say through 211 or another service like that? Or could we as a community do better? I imagine that's part of this count too, right?
Yes. So that's what the Homeless Alliance is here for. As a lead agency, what we do, our role is to bring all community partners. That means our local service providers. That means our county, our city agencies. That means even other sectors, right? Substance, mental health, bringing them all to the table to making sure that we're using our resources effectively. Yes, there's always room for improvement. There's always gaps in the system. These gaps have existed for years. So as we work better in coordinating and identifying those gaps, that's how we're able to achieve our goal to end homelessness. One thing I will say with our community, every single year we have increased our funding. We are sitting at a bit over $23 million for the funding that we receive in Western New York. And one thing I do say, when we have sufficient amount of funding, we can achieve our goal to end homelessness. We were able to achieve in our community to end veteran homelessness. So what that means, in sense, sometimes people, to elaborate more on what means ending homelessness, that means if someone enters our system that is a veteran that is homeless, we have enough resources to house them quickly. So it's to ensure that it's brief, rare, and non-reoccurring. That's the goal when we talk about ending homelessness.
Wow. And that's something that you've achieved, you said?
Our community. And I like to say our community as a whole, because it's not just us at the Homeless Alliance. It's everyone that sits in our community. Every single person plays a huge role into that.
That's amazing.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. How many volunteers do you have working with you guys? And I know that's a huge thing. You'll need a lot of volunteers for this Thursday and Friday.
Yes. I don't have that number on top of my head because it's all across all counties.
Yeah.
So each region, so Erie County has 2 coordinators, then Niagara has another coordinator, and then GOW, Genesee, and Orleans, and Wyoming has its own. So each person oversees every single area in a sense of how many volunteers are getting, how many routes, because the amount of routes differ from each area too.
I imagine if folks want to help out, first of all, how do they do it? I mean, if you live in Niagara County, contact the Niagara County person, I suppose. How would you do that? And then what is the expectation for, do they have to do any training and or what's the time? I mean, is it all day on Thursday and Friday? What are the hours?
Yeah, so I always recommend us on our website. You can sign up for our newsletter. We are always blasting out our updates, what's going on. So every single year when the point in time count is about to happen, we're letting people know. So there's a way to sign up. You fill out like a short Google Docs form, and there is a safety training. We want to make sure that every single one of our volunteers knows, like, don't go into these areas on your own, or if you see a particular situation, this is how you address it, because we want to make sure that everyone that's engaging in the point in time count is safe on both parties, the person that is conducting the survey and the person that may be receiving it. And it's not an all-day thing. There's set amount of hours, whether it's 2 hours, 1 hour. Each group has like a lead. So your lead will contact you, and the lead has experience. They've already done the point in time count. They know how this is going. So you'll never be thrown into it on your own, having no idea. No, you always have someone that's done it before and that's familiar with the process.
Great.
All right, very good.
That's
Any
excellent.
other questions?
I don't have any other questions. Anything else other than this is a really important thing happening this week? Anything else you'd like to add that we didn't ask about?
No, I think that pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
We really appreciate being here, because homelessness is a very serious cause in our community. These are our own community members. These may be our neighbors. This may be a family member. So it's just really shedding light on what's happening, and making sure as a community we still speak about it and advocate for everyone as a whole, because you never know. A lot of people are on the verge of experiencing homelessness. So the more we speak about it, the better it is.
Totally agree. Great job.
Daniella, thank you.
When will we find out the answers from this count? Does it usually take a little while, or like do you guys have it?
No, it takes a while. Our 𝐁𝐿 team, shout out to them. They work very hard in the next following months to collect the data, making sure that we're collecting every single survey, and then we present it to the community at one of our monthly meetings. So
Very good.
yes,
We'll look for that.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Daniella.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.